One of the things I'm trying to do with the Valley East Today website at valleyeasttoday.ca and with the Valley East Facebook group is have an opportunity to give recognition to the people who have really made a difference in this community. People who have worked tirelessly to improve the quality of life for others and who have just given of themselves. We have so many people in Valley East that have done that on a regular basis and have done it all their lives. And I think every now and then it's nice to give them some tribute. Uh, the other day I was going over some of my previous articles and editorials, and I came across one that I did back in 2009, and it was about a lady that many of us will remember, Hilda Kingsley, and the editorial was written on December 15th, 2008. It was entitled Hilda Kingsley, We Will All Remember How She Spent Her Dash. I remember when I first heard that Hilda Kingsley had passed away, and my reaction immediately was, wow. See, I'd known Hilda for as long as I lived in Valley East, which was since 1974. And Hilda was everywhere. She seemed to be involved in just about everything that you could imagine, and her passion for working with children in minor sports was legendary. All I could think of at the time I heard of her passing was, wow. I could sense a loss of much more than a friend and an acquaintance. I sensed the loss of a community icon, a loss that would change the face of Valley East forever. Hilda was everywhere, and now she was gone. I thought about Hilda, and I wondered, how can the Valley be the same without her? And at the same time, I began to realize just how much of a difference Hilda meant to Valley East. And now it is up to the rest of us. It was up to the rest of us at that time to step it up a notch and carry on in her memory. She served for so many years in Valley East minor hockey on the NOHA. She was a driving force behind the Consbeck AAA midgets when they were active. She was instrumental in the development of minor soccer, and she volunteered with Club Richelieu. She was also ready to give of her time to help anyone who needed her assistance. And she will forever be known as the First Lady of the Renegades organization. That was perhaps her greatest contribution of all. Hilda was the first inductee in the volunteer category to the Valley East Sports Hall of Fame in 1998. There was no question as to who would be the first inductee. It had to be Hilda Kingsley. She made such a difference in the community. Even though Hilda was someone who always had time to volunteer to help out with minor sports, she also had time to be a very devoted wife to Jean-Paul and a loving mother to her two sons, David and Mark, both of whom, at the time of her death, were still living in Hanmer. Her greatest joys in life were her two grandchildren, Rebecca and Caitlin. A lady named Linda Ellis once wrote a poem that I, at the time, and I still do, think expresses Hilda Kingsley's life. The poem was entitled The Dash. I'll read it to you, and as I'm reading it to you, if you knew Hilda Kingsley, I want you to think of how fitting a description this is of that special woman. I also want you to think about yourself and ask if this poem could be used to describe your own life one day or to describe someone you knew who was no longer with us. Hilda Kingsley was born on March 14th, 1946. She died on December 5th, 2008. On her tombstone, those two dates will be written, and in between the tombstone is a dash. That's what this poem is about. It's called The Dash by Linda Ellis. I read of a man who stood to speak at the funeral of a friend. He referred to the dates on her tombstone, from the beginning to the end. He noted that first came the date of her birth, and spoke of the following date with tears. But he said what mattered most of all was the dash between those years. For that dash represents all the time that she spent alive on earth. And now only those who loved her know what that little line is worth. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters is how we live and love and how we spend our dash. So think about this long and hard. Are there things you'd like to change? For you never know how much time is left that can still be rearranged. If we could just slow down enough to consider what's true and real, and always try to understand the way other people feel, and be less quick to anger and show appreciation more, and love the people in our lives like we've never loved before. If we treat each other with respect, and more often wear a smile, remembering that this special dash might only last a while. So when your eulogy is being read, with your life's actions to rehash, would you be proud of the things they say about how you spend your dash? Joseph Epstein once said, "We do not choose to be born. We do not choose our parents or the country of our birth. We do not, most of us, choose to die. Nor do we choose the time and conditions of our death. But within this realm of choicelessness, we do choose how to live." A lot will be said about Hilda Kingsley and how she lived her life, but the most fitting tribute of all will be that she showed us all how to spend our dash. Have a good week.